Okay, so I want to talk about the EPOS ES14. This driver that's in there, tweeter driver, is not the original. The original, I guess, broke when I received the pair. One of them was broke already, and someone put a different driver in there. It's kind of just stuck in there in the hole, and there's tape around it to keep in that hole behind this baffle. And then the screw is no longer necessary. And then there's a little screen here which also has tape on, just to kind of keep it, kind of give it the same look, right? So if you look at this guy, this is the original one. Okay, so I was like, it sounds pretty good actually. If I didn't tell you that it was a replaced driver in a blind test, I might not even be aware of it. But I was doing some research and I was thinking we could do better. So I took measurements of the baffle, and my idea is to mount a driver, a tweeter, on the outside. I haven't yet decided on which one yet. I'm going to play around with this one because I have it. This is version 1 of the iteration of my print. I talk about it was almost perfect. Okay, let's talk about it. So you can see the printing marks. But the printing marks from the top, so this was, literally sitting on the printing plate, which is heated underneath. But if you look at the underside, it's nice and smooth. So one of the first thing I did was I flipped this print like this, so that the bottom part was at the top and the front facing part was on the bottom to get that smoothness. So so that's a trick you can do for anyone not being aware of this. Another thing I did is I rounded the corners a little bit because I noticed these are rounded. For whatever reason, one of the corners, the software didn't round, and maybe I forgot to apply. I'm not sure. I'll look at it. This is not going to be the final one yet because I have to print in black. This is still a prototype. And then I made this a little bit bigger because it wasn't quite fitting. I wasn't sure if I was just eyeballing it, if it shrank a little bit. Anyway. And then the screw holes were perfect. This hole was good, but this hole was a little bit too small. So I made it a little bit wider. And now the whole thing fits, right? So if you see, this driver has wires on each side. The whole thing fits now. That's what these notches are. And then I made, with the marker, holes as eyeballed as perfect. I'm going to take measurements, and then the next iteration I'm going to have these already here, so I don't have to drill anything. But even with drilled, it would work. I would guess it would work, but I prefer not to drill them. It just works better. It won't, the process of drilling won't incur any fractures or cracks into the PLA that could spread over time. So yes, this is pretty much the final version. So that's going to come out, right? This is going to come out. This is going to go in. And then this is going to be on the outside mounted. It's not yet mounted, but let me give you guys an idea how this is going to look. Right? Now, this tweeter will get much better off-axis response because you have that bevel edge here. It will just disperse the sound much better versus a tweeter being behind a shield like this, behind this baffle. And you definitely don't get this off-axis performance being blocked. You get this on-axis. It doesn't, don't get me wrong, it sounds good. But, 1986, it's 2023, so we can do better, I think, especially when the drivers are failing. We can think about doing something better. So, yeah, I want a 3D print because I have a 3D printer. Now it just sits there, prints toys. And I used Fusion 360. I had to learn it. Yesterday, I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. So I took measurements. I watched the YouTube video how to do a triangle. Okay, I did a triangle. Then I YouTube video how to make holes. Watch the YouTube now. So once I learned one hole, you can make any hole sizes and types. And then I did it really simple to do the bevel. You learn, just press a bevel icon on the thing and the different bevel types and sizes. And it shows you on the screen what you're doing. So it kind of previews how it's going to look. And then the circle was just bigger. Then I had to put a rectangle, not a triangle, I'm sorry, a rectangle this way, and I had to extrude it. And I copied the extrusion. So that's how I got this thing. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to fix this corner here and add these holes in the software. I ordered just a second ago, I ordered a new roll of black PLA Plus because I don't want it to be gray like this. It would look kind of off. And even if it's not perfect shading, it will be close enough. I think I'm going to be okay with it. And then I can always, spray paint it with, try to get something like that and spray paint it. I can use these as first iteration, so I never throw them away, keep them. I can use the first iteration to spray paint it to get the right, shade, and I can see if it matches. And then I can apply that to the final one. So anyway, I just kind of, I'm not a professional speaker designer, anything like that, but I thought it made sense. So as far as the driver, I wasn't sure yet if I'm going to go with this one. This is just something as proof of concept. This is a 4 ohm, and these are originals, I believe, are 8 ohm. So I think I was looking at some Cease drivers from Norway, some really good drivers. They're like 75 bucks a piece. And so I might order one of those, 2 of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original one out that still works, put it in a box for safekeeping, and then replace both of them with the new driver. So I'll print two baffles and then replace this whole thing. I'll do some measurements on the original one with microphone, and then see how I tweak the capacitor values, whatever. See what we get with, try to match as close as possible. Fully understanding that it's not going to be as original. It might be even better than the original. So we'll see. Cheers.